Hey everyone, my name's Gnarls. You don't know me, but if you're watching this video, chances are we have something in common. We both play Old School Runescape. Not RuneScape, Old School Runescape. A very important distinction to make. Old School Runescape was released February 22nd, 2013, over 10 years ago. At the time, it was planned to just be a few small dedicated servers for those who were feeling nostalgic and who wanted to explore Gielinor one last time. Did I just say Gielinor? Oh my god. Gielinor one last time. Updates were planned to be limited and few and far between, mostly just a few quality of life things here and there. In fact, some of the first larger updates to the game were actually just clever rearranging of pre-existing assets, such as the minigame Nightmare Zone, for example. Jagex probably never would have guessed that Old School would have grown into the juggernaut MMO that it is today, with almost 2 million active users, far surpassing its own base game by a staggering margin. But you know what? I don't think anyone would have guessed it either at the time. When Jagex released the poll all those years ago, asking if players wanted to see Old School RuneScape be implemented, sort of this 2007 clone, because at the time people were already playing on private servers. I think one of them had like 500,000 users or something like that. The poll, even though it was promising, the poll that I actually voted on it myself, I didn't think that it was going to get any traction, or that if it did reach the intended objective or goal, that Jagex would somehow find a way to forswear on their promise. I don't know. It just didn't seem feasible for some reason at the time. And I figured that people who would have wanted the game to return had already moved on and never would have even had a chance to vote in this poll. I mean, I don't remember how I voted in it because I had stopped playing the game for quite some time when the poll had come out, but somehow I came across it and I was able to vote. But boy, was I was very, very wrong about basically everything. So I started playing RuneScape as a kid, and I loved every single second of it. From the gameplay to the design to even the music, I was just instantly hooked. And like I said, I did stop playing after all the updates came out that essentially changed the game from something that I recognized and enjoyed to basically just a clone of the more popular MMOs at the time, like World of Warcraft. But the question still remains, which is the title of this video: why are we still playing? I'm in my mid-20s now, and I still find myself eagerly logging in, to play a 20-plus year old point-and-click adventure game for hours on end. And now, I'm even starting to make YouTube videos about it. What's going on here? So what is it about Old School RuneScape that has so many of us hooked? What is it? Go away. Frickin' Giles. It can't just be nostalgia. It can't. Otherwise the game would have died off years ago. Well, I think, honestly, get out of here, Giles. The best explanation here is probably just the simplest one, and that is that the game it's fun. I mean, there's a reason we fell in love with RuneScape back when we were kids. It was fun then, and it's fun now. It's a simple yet complex game. It's engaging. Occasionally it's frustrating, and there is an overwhelming amount of content to sift through. Unlike traditional MMOs that typically just focus on one style of gameplay, being combat, and not typically, always, Old School functions kind of like a satisfied customer at Burger King. You really can have it your way. It sounded so much better in my head. Wow, I can't believe I just said that. But the sheer volume of Old School is not what makes it great. The fundamentals are what makes it great. And we know this because back when there was only one RuneScape, Jagex threatened those fundamentals and eventually just outright replaced them, leading to disastrous consequences. And it's interesting because at first glance, it might not seem that way at all. Most people who've never heard of the game, where are you going, man? who've never heard of the game probably would take one look at the graphics and just turn away. Even though I happen to think that they're absolutely beautiful for a game that was first coded in JavaScript. Besides, it's these simple, easy to run graphics that allowed so many kids, myself included, the chance to play the game when we were younger, because unlike some games, you didn't need an industrial supercomputer to play it. And with all the graphical overhauls and updates and mods and plugins nowadays, Old School RuneScape can look as detailed and brilliant as you want it to. Now, as an experience, I think Old School is the perfect example of hard work being fun when it's rewarded. Whether it's watching your skills rise with a little bit of XP, getting a rare and sought-after piece of equipment from an enemy you've killed over 1,000 times, or just murdering another human being in the wilderness, there are plenty of avenues to get those dopamine bursts. And since leveling up in-game takes a fair amount of time and dedication, it makes seeing the progression of your character just that much more enjoyable. The same goes for obtaining gear. Old School has a real, live, breathing economy, with rising and falling prices based on a myriad of factors such as supply and demand, updates, new changes to the metagame, etc., etc. Making money in-game requires time and effort, coupled with a nice hefty dose of RNG sometimes, but it makes that expensive piece of equipment, weapon, armor, that much more special once you finally do obtain it. However, I think more than any of the stuff I just mentioned, Old School is thriving because of its community. Now, before you unload on me in the comments, I know this is a divisive issue. Trust me, I know that. However, that doesn't change the fact that the game is still made up of people, and most of the people are regular people who just enjoy playing the game. The amount of conversations I've struck up with random strangers in this game while doing a quest or fighting monsters or even just kind of standing around is staggering. And that isn't to say there haven't been some bad experiences, because of course there have been. But for the most part, I have found the majority of people in-game to be friendly and fun to converse with. In fact, striking up a random conversation is how I found my current clan. And joining a clan is something I would recommend for anyone who plays and doesn't have one. Ooh, a dragon impling. Wish I could catch that, but I can't with my disgusting 62 hunter. I've also heard people say Old School is just a big virtual chat room with some things to do on the side. And while I personally think you can make that argument for literally any other online game, I understand the point that's trying to be made. Old School RuneScape is the perfect white noise game, that's for sure. You can be surfing the internet, watching YouTube, reading stuff on Wikipedia, browsing Facebook, and the entire time have Old School open up on the side. Most people actually do. And with mobile now, I mean, oh my goodness, the convenience of being able to play literally anywhere you have Wi-Fi or reception is insane. I mean, the game is so easy to pick up and put back down. I mean, you can take a month, 2, 3 month, a year break and come back and fall right back into what you were doing. The more you play, the more you start creating these sort of checklists for yourself and these goals. And when you achieve those goals, you just get such a strong feeling of satisfaction and gratification. Those feelings cannot be understated. And it never feels like a chore, at least it never has to me. I mean, all those great moments, all those achievements, and I mean, especially if you're in a clan and you can share those moments with your clanmates and friends, oh my god, the camaraderie, the dopamine, oh my god, the dopamine, oh jeez, it's all there, man. Seriously though, no, type in on Reddit or Google or something, why do you play Old School RuneScape, and you'll just see like half the comments and listings being, because I'm addicted to it, or, I mean, it's like crack cocaine, only more addictive. It's like, holy shit, I get it, but damn. There's a saying in the RuneScape community, you probably heard it, and that is that nobody ever really quits, they just take extended breaks. And this isn't to say things like burnout, boredom, or repetition can't and don't get to a person. It's happened to me. It's happened to me several times. But I'm eager to see what happens in the next 5 years with the game. When the primary demographic reaches their 30s, mid-30s, even their 40s, is it still going to be as popular? Will the content keep evolving with these great updates? I'm not sure. I like to think a new generation of players will kind of take over and keep the old school experience alive. I mean, but there's also nothing to say that somebody above the age of 40 or even 50 can't play the game either. I mean, who cares? So, who knows? But for now, I will say, I think it's safe to say that the state of the game is definitely secure and highly protected by its somewhat rabid player base. Either way, I wanted this video to serve as somewhat of an introduction. I played this game for years. Not 4 years, but for years. I played this game for a while. I played this game for a long time. And while I'm by no means an expert, I do have an interest in creating content. And I've decided to go forth with the decision to start making videos. I uploaded my first video, a guide on killing the stupid, dumb, grotesque guardians. Before this, I think we're at like 3 views right now. So, you know, things are really moving. I don't want to forget you guys when I get, you know, all rich and famous. But I don't know what's going to happen. It might change me, you know. So we'll have to wait and see. So if you're still watching this or you skip to the end for TLDR, well, then I am sorry to both of you. But I'd still like for you to do me a favor and comment below what kind of content would you like to see. You have this person here who wants to try to break into the old school RuneScape content creation YouTube community. Kind of have a blank slate here. Would you be interested in seeing PvP, PvM, questing, skill guides, endgame content, some sort of torturous Iron Man series where I basically virtually castrate myself by having to sit 16, 17, 18 hours a day at my screen doing some monotonous objective in order to achieve some otherwise Herculean task? Let me know. I would be more than happy to see what your suggestions are to those who are watching this video. I'll see you around. I hope you subscribe. I hope you like it. If you don't, that's totally fine. And I hope to see you. I hope to see you again soon. All right. Take care of yourself. Oh, I logged out before I turned the video